Joining me now is the aforementioned physician, Dr. Scott Jensen, also Dr. Harvey Risch, Yale School of Medicine epidemiologist. Dr. Jensen, both you and Dr. Risch called so much of this out from the beginning. You were vilified. I was vilified for featuring you. And now on so many of these issues, you've both been vindicated. Dr. Jensen, let's start with you.
This is just a bait and switch. This whole thing has been from the beginning flawed. And what we're seeing now is they're trying to prepare for the biggest pivot that we could ever see. Now they're talking about how smart they are with wastewater monitoring. We've monitored wastewater for viral disease and things like that. The problem is the CDC creates science just like President Biden creates policy, willy-nilly, slipshod, and it's made up.
And Dr. Risch, so many of the other issues that we've raised about the vaccine are now being openly discussed in the media, even about the effects on young women, specifically on girls. The EU is investigating reports of changes in menstrual cycles, bleeding, and absence of menstruation from women who had received the vaccine from Pfizer and Moderna. I don't know if our FDA is looking into that or if they've already noted it and kind of discounted it. I've seen a lot of reports that these are just minor changes in a woman's normal cycle, but it's an effect of this virus, and they know very little about any long-term implications, correct?
Correct. We know very little about anything, the truth of anything that comes out of CDC or FDA.
Are you shocked by this new calibration or attempt to recalibrate the numbers, Dr. Risch? Because it looks exceedingly obvious to anyone who's looking at the numbers of COVID deaths, now almost 1 million, including under Biden's first year. Are you surprised that it seems so obvious that they're trying to change the narrative, as Dr. Jensen just said?
Well, of course, they had a tool to ramp up the numbers, and they have another tool to ramp down the numbers. The DoD has a tool to ramp up the cases in their database. They had a tool to ramp it down. This is just fiddling around with the numbers to make whatever political statements you want.
And Dr. Jensen, this is breaking just today. Pfizer now pulling out of the FDA approval process for vaccines for kids 5 and under. This is unbelievable. The CNBC is reporting that Pfizer said today that it will wait for its data on a 3-dose series of the vaccine because it believes 3 doses may provide a higher level of protection in this age group. Dr. Jensen, so it's not just 2, it's got to be 3. You got to get rid of that vaccine that's piling up, I guess. I don't know what's happening.
I think what's happening is these people are fearful of accountability. They know that with even the left-sided media saying, we've got to take a look at this. I think some of the liberal media really feels like they've been taken advantage of, and they're scurrying about trying to get protection as well. And now you've got Pfizer saying, we don't have someone covering our back like we used to. The doctors that were vilifying you, Laura, and vilifying me, they've gotten remarkably quiet. The fact of the matter is that you have to follow the money to see what happens. We know that this has been about power. It's been about control. It's been about big government, big tech. It's been about big pharma. And it's coming to an end, and they're getting scared.
Dr. Risch, really quickly, do you think they will attempt to do more of the controls and the masking if some new variant pops up down the road, maybe after the midterms? Will they try it again, or no? Are we done with that?
It's hard to know. I think that any new variants are going to be very mild, like Omicron. They're going to be based on Omicron. So they may try to do it for control purposes, but not for science purposes.
Now, remember, Biden said it was going to be the winter of death. Remember, he predicted that with Omicron. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for standing up for the truth and honest science from the start.